Good afternoon, everyone. Romney Smith at WTOC for The News Now. This is where we bring you local, regional, and national stories that we're working on for you. So thank you for giving us just a few minutes of your afternoon and get all caught up. Keep in mind, we are on various platforms right now. That includes our website, WTOC.com, the WTOC apps, Amazon Fire, Roku, Twitter, and Facebook. And I want to shout out Facebook because that's where you can actually interact with me live. Let me know where you're watching from, ask a question, leave a comment. That's where we can actually chat with each other. Several people already online, so thank you so much. Karen Morris, Aurelia Brown, Vaughn Jones, Mark Long, among many others checking in. We appreciate it. Okay, so there right now is not a large amount of money, but certainly a couple $1,000s to help figure out who killed the wife of a deployed soldier. So the U.S. Army Criminal Investigation Command and the FBI are now offering $20,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of the person responsible for the death of Avery Boykin. You might remember when we first announced that she was found. Boykin is the 24-year-old wife of a soldier who was found dead in her home on Fort Stewart on July 10th. Her husband was deployed at the time. The Army has been looking for her vehicle that has been missing ever since her death. If you happen to see a black 2018 Honda Accord with a Georgia license plate tag of RLQ 1762, you're asked to call police. Again, Avery Boykin died back on July 10th, and she was found in her home on Fort Stewart. At the time, her husband was deployed. The military notified him of what happened. He was able to come back to the States, of course, to deal with the loss of his wife. This is still an open investigation right now. Again, for those of you just tuning in, the U.S. Army Criminal Investigation Command and the FBI now offering a reward of $20,000, up to $20,000, for any information that leads to the arrest and conviction of anyone responsible for the death of Avery Boykin. We certainly want to see that happen soon. And many of you also weighing in on Facebook. Elise McCleary saying, so sad. Lynette Wilson also giving the sad face emoji. A lot of you guys at the time when that happened sending prayers and thoughts that someone who committed this crime would be caught. So that's certainly still an open investigation. If you know anything, we certainly appreciate you making those calls. All right. The Garden City Police Department, good news here, says a missing woman has been found. The department says Shirley King was located in a safe condition. She's 61 years old, and she went missing from Garden City on Saturday. Well, she was found today when she was wearing a pair of blue pants and a long sleeve shirt. They're also looking more into what happened, where she was. But again, she has been found safe. So that's some really, really good news. The Savannah Chatham School System is assessing the damage at Marsh Point Elementary School after Friday's tornado. We brought you live team coverage when it was right after it was happening to show you the extensive damage. With the first day of school happening later this week, a lot of parents and students are wondering if school will open on time. WTOC's Zach Logan is looking into it.
Well, today, several schools within the Savannah-Chatham County Public School System are preparing for open house events, but that's not the case here at Marsh Point Elementary after Friday's tornado caused some severe damage here. An EF1 tornado plowed through parts of Oakland and Whitmarsh Island Friday afternoon, causing quite the mess. Coastal Middle and Islands High School saw damage around their properties, but Marsh Point Elementary was affected head-on. Take a look. A part of the school's roof was ripped off, causing water to leak inside. According to the school system, 13 classrooms have water damage. Students were supposed to be arriving to the school Thursday for the first day of class, but now students and parents are left waiting for word from the school. The school system says structural engineers addressed the damage over the weekend. Once school officials have been briefed on the assessment, they'll determine the safest plan of action. No word yet, though, on when that information will be released. And once we get that information from the school system, we'll be sure to pass it along. Reporting on Whitmarsh Island, Zach Logan, WTOC News.
As for the other schools with tornado damage, Coastal Middle School had several large trees and light poles go down. The damage at Islands High School was limited to bleachers and fencing at the school's baseball and softball fields. If anything changes with the school start date, we will let you know both on air and online. All right, time for an update on the weather. A heads up, take your umbrella every single day this week. WTOC's Cutter Martin has more.
Your Monday forecast, no big surprises. Scattered to numerous showers and thunderstorms in the forecast today. Mid-morning actually looking relatively quiet, maybe an isolated downpour. The activity really, though, begins to pick up after lunchtime between 1 and 3, maybe popping up first south of the Altamaha and then increasing, moving off to the north through the afternoon. This activity will be on the heavy side, at least in a couple of spots. Locally heavy rain, frequent lightning, some gusty breezes possible with just about any storm that develops today. So make sure that you have the WTOC weather app in hand before you leave to drive home this evening. See if your route is being impacted by heavy rain. Could see some isolated street flooding occur like we have the past several days. In general, though, this evening, well, after sunset, a little bit quieter, but can't rule out isolated downpours lingering past dinner time and into the overnight hours. We'll be keeping you updated in the weather app, WTOC.com, and during newscasts.
Good recap there. So keep in mind, rain chance is pretty high all week long. I want to get to Facebook. We do have a question about the very first story we had about the murder investigation. LaFrida is asking, what date did the murder happen? So Aubrey Boykin was found dead on Fort Stewart on July 10th. Her husband was deployed at the time. The U.S. Army Criminal Investigation Command and the FBI are offering a reward of up to $20,000 for any information that leads to an arrest and conviction of the person responsible for the death of Aubrey Boykin. Again, still under investigation, but the one thing that we want to call to your attention is that the Army has been looking for her vehicle since her death. If you see a black 2018 Honda Accord with a Georgia license plate RLQ 1762, please call police immediately. I have another comment on Facebook saying, and no sign of her vehicle. So weird. Indeed, it is weird. All we know for sure right now is that her death is being investigated and that it is still an active investigation. Her husband was deployed at the time, and Mr. Boykin was able to be flown back to the United States to, of course, grieve and deal with the loss of his wife. As soon as we get an update on that story, we will let you know, but we did think it was important to point out to you that they are still actively looking into tips and any leads, and right now they're offering up to $20,000 to help get this situation solved for any information that leads to an arrest and conviction of the person who might be responsible for killing Miss Boykin. All right, so that's all we have right now on Facebook. I thank you so much for your time. Again, we'll be back in another hour with more stories that we're working on for you right now, and you can always reach us online at WTOC.com as well as our social media pages. Thanks so much. See you later.